you that impression? It's because the man is doing an unusual thing. So please, it can be either in the form of affliction by virtue of my maybe high-level definition I'm trying to give you now, but whatever it is not still acceptable to God. That is not to say that they are not welcome in the church. They are welcome in the church to the point that they are willing to accept the power of God to touch their life, to change them. But they are not acceptable in the church to the point that somebody will tell me that, oh, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Let them become a deacon, let them become a pastor. Excuse me, I'm repeating it again. That is a satanic church where the devil is reigning supreme. I can tell you that. God will never, the God that I know, will never allow them to be the one that will be preaching his own gospel of the kingdom. No. The Bible tells me now you don't expect God to be both unrighteous and righteous together. It doesn't work. That is all I can tell you on all those issues. But please have it at the back of your mind. God doesn't hate sinners. He only hates their sin.
Good call. I want to move ahead on this homosexuality issue, but I'm willing to take maybe a few more questions or a few more contributions regarding this issue. Yinka, you have.
In our world today, we see that the church getting much more involved in politics. And in America, you have the Christian coalition, which lobby the government against certain bills to be passed. A couple of years ago, when President Bush was going to pass a bill about, say, making it illegal for any law to be passed on homosexuality and gay rights, gay marriages. Do you think the church should get involved in things like that, especially in a society that claims that we want everyone to be equal, and many people have fought so hard to get people to be equal? Do you think the church should be involved in such things?
Or we go on our knees, are we to physically participate in activism or to go on our knees? Just to add to what Yinka is trying to ask there.
You see, the comment of the moderator has practically revealed the answer I had in mind. And permit me to say it this way. It's unfortunate that the Church of God is not where we are supposed to be. The church over the years has allowed itself to be drifted away from the calling that God has given to them. And that's why when a man has drifted away from the calling of God, you will employ different means to accomplish the purpose of God. God is not tired of manifesting his power. And I want to tell you one thing today, and that is not too good a positive comment about we pastors now, and that is shooting the arrow to myself now, that if all of us who are pastors will actually maintain the calling of God and do it the way it's supposed to be done, I don't need to beg any government before they change their mind. I don't need to persuade them in terms of email, writing, everybody sign for it, let's send it to Parliament. You know what's supposed to happen? You are supposed to just rise up and go to the Parliament here one of those days and say, well, if my God is still in heaven and you guys will go away with this your decision, then let him not be God. And he said, I give you 7 days for which this will happen. And on the 7th day they refused. Wait, and on the 7th day they refused. And every one of them in government slept in the night and they never woke up the next morning. You think somebody else will come and confront you as a church? Brethren, I'm being serious with this. In the days of Elijah, nobody dare confront him. In the days of Moses, nobody dare confront him. But we have allowed the congregation to help us to water down the gospel of the kingdom that we preach. In the days of Paul the Apostle, let us not go further to the days of Moses and all the rest. In the days of Paul the Apostle, In the days of the 12 disciples, they walked into the Sanhedrin and they said to them, gentlemen, what you are discussing is wrong. This is what should be. Nobody dare look at them in the face. But we have allowed ourselves, and in fact, the membership of the church is still calling for us to divulge the powers of heaven from the altar, more and more. Whereas at the level we are now, pastors are supposed to be weeping and crying. You see, that is the problem we have. If all of us can realize that we need revival in our time, we need the reviving hand of God in the church. Not even persuading the pastor to please accept homosexual. Please accept them to be what they are. In fact, there should be a point where they will be dreading to come into the church. Because the power of God will be there to turn them around. That's why I said your moderator has practically revealed the secret. The battle of the Lord should be fought on our knees. But because we are too much in a haste, we cannot fight any battle anymore in the prayer room. We just want to use means of human knowledge. Say, let us write a lot of stories. Do you know that if the government refuse all our stories, they are justified because we are using their weapons to fight them. So we need to wake up to the call for church. To wake up to the call of heaven upon our life. I'm looking for a man who will demonstrate the power of God to the world. In our days, I thank God for the general overseer that we have. In our days, it has happened in my presence. Not that he told me. This is a man of God, and I envy him so much, and I desire to be like him. This is a man, they told him that, look, the head of state is coming after you. And he laughed. He said, don't worry about that. I have had you. This is a nation where the head of state sent a gunman after them to go and kill them. It's not that they say, I know it happened. And the man just smiled. I said, don't worry, except if God is not on the throne. And not less than 1 week, he said, don't worry, just congratulate yourself, the man is gone. Even though the man is still on the throne. You see, this is the kind of power we need all over the continent. Why is everybody looking for that man of God to come to their continent? Because you know the power of God is in his life. That is what we want. That is what we should pray for. That is what we should look for. But meanwhile, pending the time you don't have that power, you better go and sign on those documents. Because that is it.
Temporary solution.
If you don't have that power, you go and confront the devil, he will tell you, Paul, I know, and Jesus, I know. Who are you? So it's better for you to continue to cry for revival in your secret chamber so that God can be restored back on stage. I tell you one thing, you will have a good country. If God is on stage and your pastor or your leader can go to the forefront and say, gentlemen, all this garbage about your homosexuality is nothing. I don't want to hear it anymore. And they confront your pastor and your pastor say, well, unless if I don't serve God. And all of you see things happening almost the next day. Of course, the church will be full. Don't wait for that for the church to be full. He said, blessed are those who will believe without seeing signs. That's where I want to get you to.
I'm closing this issue of homosexuality with just one last question. And I believe that from this question, Pastor, I want you to see an opportunity in this question such that people seated here today can also relate to this question. Pastor, what would you do, or let me rephrase, what would be your disposition if you found out that a church member of yours, somebody who is committed, devoted, somebody who you love, is gay or lesbian? I don't know, it's funny. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at here is that I want to get out of this question what our disposition should be. What should be our attitude to maybe in terms of counseling or praying or whatnot, but what would you do?
If any one of my members comes up and says, Pastor, I am gay, I'm lesbian, I'm this, I'm that, what we have said before is that the church is a corrective place, not accommodating place. You see, when such a thing is discovered, we now embark on a corrective measure. What do? We need the power of God to come into place, except if that fellow is not willing to change. Then, like my brother said, we kick him out.